over the next 45 days, Kaspa is going to have the opportunity of its lifetime to challenge Bitcoin's computational power. Once the halving actually takes place, so many of the Bitcoin miners are now going to become unprofitable, thus get unplugged. Thus, the hash rate of Bitcoin is going to plummet. This is why every single cycle right after the halving takes place, the price will sharply drop. This is back to our price discovery theory. Originally, when Kaspa was starting to get lined up for the ASICs were about to come online, it was Son of a Tech who was arguing, leading the pack of this narrative. Once the ASICs come online, they're going to absolutely dump on Kaspa. This couldn't be farther from the truth. As you allocate emissions out, the less hands that you divide that up to, the more scarce the goods come, the more scarce goods are, the higher the price goes. This is one of the number one driving economic forces behind cryptocurrency as a whole. And it's about to take place on a massive scale. As the Bitcoin hash rate cranks down, Kaspa has the new KS5s, which are running late, which should finally arrive in the United States and other parts of the world, rocketing Kaspa's hash rate up while Bitcoin's falls down. Jumping over to our crypto bubbles tool, we can see which projects have been performing the strongest over the past 365 days. Of course, Kaspa's still in the lead. Solana and Injective are up there, but notice this cluster right here for a cash, render, and Tau. All three of these are from the exact same sector. They're from DePIN, and they all have some type of artificial intelligence capabilities. The more computational power artificial intelligence gets, the more powerful it becomes. Let's take a look at this clip from the Joe Rogan podcast as these gentlemen explain exactly
There's something that changed in the field of AI in 2017 that everyone needs to know, because I was not freaked out about AI at all, until this big change in 2017.
Mm-hmm. It's really important to know this because we've heard about AI for the longest time, and you're like, yep, Google Maps still mispronounces like the street name, and like Siri just doesn't work. And this thing happened in 2017. It's actually the exact same thing that said, all right, now it's time to start translating animal language. And it's where underneath the hood, the engine got swapped out, and it was a thing called transformers. And the interesting thing about this new model called transformers is the more data you pump into it and the more like computers you let it run on, the more superpowers it gets. But you haven't done anything.
You heard them correctly. As the hash rate or computational power of these GPT AIs increases, they suddenly become immensely smarter and get new skill sets. And we can see how AI has pushed itself into the top of the narrative. Meanwhile, over at the NASDAQ, the entire United States stock market is being held up by artificial intelligence through the race for computational power. We've got NVIDIA, Meta, Google, Apple, Alibaba. All of these companies are hoarding chips. The race to having the first AGI, the first super artificial intelligence that actually works, is the arms race of our time. And the structure that the different countries and governments are using to put the safety checks in place is, well, we'll just get the AI first, and then we'll use it to stop everyone else. And of course, the stock market is starting to flow into cryptocurrency because it allows for better financial structures. There's no CEOs to pay in cryptocurrency. It's easier to hire help. It's open source. You can just do a hackathon bounty. Take a look at your portfolio right now. Hopefully you aren't over diversified. We're 100% Kaspa, which means that when we woke up this morning, our portfolio just went up $50,000. That's what 1.5 million Kaspa will do for you. That's what doing enough fundamental research so you can go all in on the best project can do for you. When you spread it out thin, you're only going to do average. The entire point of getting into cryptocurrency is to get rich in a short period of time. And this may very well be our absolute last chance. As we can see, the economy of the world isn't like it was for our grandfathers. Of course, after World War I and World War II, it was like Thanos finally did his snap. There were so many people just wiped off the face of the earth. There were so many extra resources. There was prosperity absolutely everywhere. But of course, resources are finite, and we're starting to see that not every man is going to get to live like a king. And fairly soon, the powers that be are just going to put the absolute clamps down. We already know it's going to be CBDC. They're going to be chaining us up with the blockchains, and this is our last chance to free ourselves and our family. It's kind of like when the airplane is crashing. You got to put the gas mask on yourself first before you save other people. We can start fighting for freedom once we financially secure ourselves. We should start looking beyond Kaspa. Once the price gets above 30 cents, 50 cents, it gets listed on Coinbase. The 10 BPS rocket ship finally takes place. Now we start looking into artificial intelligence. Let's use GameFi for example. It is imperative that you get involved in a new listing GameFi as opposed to something that's been on the board for 6 months to a year already, because everything that's been listed for 365 days, guess what? The team and the VCs, they just got a token unlock. For all we know, they're sitting around the boardroom right now saying, yeah, we just got our tokens. Don't sell them yet. Wait for the price to go up. This is literally the definition of a dump. When you look at the tokenomics of everything that Archie and Seprol have been pushing out, those were great back then, but today they are, by the tokenomics alone, extremely toxic assets. I'll show you this pie chart leaked from inside our Patreon. You can see the team has got their hands on tokens, and so do the VCs at Lit Labs. Meanwhile, over at QORP World, they can't get their hands on the token for another year. So imagine which one of these two projects is going to perform better over the next year. Which one is more risk of a dump? And I think that you'll see the answer is it's time to focus on new listings. I invite you to join our group. I was once part of Gareth Soloway's trading group, and the major takeaway that I got was it's so important to understand the why of every trade that you make so you can do it confidently, so it's not Gareth Soloway's pick. I remember when I was part of Gareth's group, I never got the full profit that I should have. I would get scared and sell out too quick. Meanwhile, if I would have just let it run, if I would have understood the trade, if Gareth would have taken the time to teach me, to show me all the fundamental steps, what you're looking at right here is the 24-point checklist. It goes over tons of stuff. We got a list of the 30 best performing VC. As we've been scrolling, well over 60 white papers now, when we find a project that has innovative technology, the group gets a heads up, and then following a 24-point report on this using the checklist system, so it's a common language of communication. Thanks for checking out this video, guys. Good luck with your Kaspa bags. We'll catch you on the next one.